Okay, good morning. So my name is Maaike de Heij, you already know. I'm going to talk about engaging pupils in citizen science research projects on sustainable landscape. So I'm working for University of Groningen for the Science Center. It's called Science LinX on the top. And we are especially the Science Center of the STEM faculty called Science and Engineering. And what we do, we want to engage pupils of secondary schools and show them what science is all about, and kind of be a bridge between secondary school curriculum and the start to university. Our second target group is to have contact with the teachers of secondary schools, so to also inform them what science is all about and give them knowledge on the newest research projects, so they can take this knowledge into their classrooms. And we also help them with developing new programs. Then our third target group is NGOs and society. So questions that come from the societies or from NGOs. We are searching for students that want to work on that, or also look for scientists who want to incorporate those questions into their research projects. And then as last, we also look at what we call the general public to tell them what science is all about by organizing science festivals. So we organize events at our university, but also go out and organize them in the city. Next. So now I'm going to talk about this Erasmus Plus project. It's called Sustain. It's a 3-year project. It just started on September last year, and it's on strategic partnership in secondary education. And so the project theme is on sustainable landscape. So the topic is, how can we as a society use the environment around us for living, food production, recreation, and still have nature as a balance in there without putting too much strain on nature. So next. And what we want to do is engage pupils of secondary schools in the citizen science research project on sustainable landscape to give them, or to get awareness on the problem, and also to raise their critical thinking. And we want specifically to involve these young people because they are the next generation. They will also deal with the consequences of our behavior. And what we want to do is work with citizen science projects. In the last year, we are going to organize science festivals, and so that pupils of secondary schools will present their results at these festivals. So our consortium is a network of scientists, teachers of secondary schools, people that are in science communication, in science education, and there are 3 locations. So Cyprus, in Valencia, Spain, and in the Netherlands. And in all the 3 countries, we have a university, 1 or 2, combined with 2 secondary schools, and people from science communication to work together on the team. And we have UC on board, which is European Science Engagement Association, to help us with the outreach, to even spread it further, because our aim is that also other countries can join in this project at the end. So what we want to do is work on e-learning modules on sustainable landscape, and that for every country, so from Spain, Cyprus, the Netherlands, that everyone is focusing on their own theme, but it's also first have a very general theme so we can exchange it. And I will show you now what are the themes for the regions. So in Cyprus, one of the problems is the illegal trapping of songbirds. So on migration, either to the wintering area or on migration back to the breeding area, thousands and thousands of songbirds are captured illegally for consumption. Which is something that, well, in the Netherlands it doesn't occur, so we are really like, what? There is very common phenomenon, and it's just also in their culture. So this is the theme that they will be working on in Cyprus. So next, please. So in Spain, they will be working on water use for food production. So for instance, they have their very nice what's called lagoon water wetlands. It's called Albufera, and there they use the water for fishery, but also for rice production, and of course it influences the nature around it. And they're going to develop a learning module on this topic. And then next, the Netherlands. We are going to look how beautifully flat it is. We're going to work on lost biodiversity in the landscape. And I will tell you in a little bit more detail what we're going to, how the module would kind of look like, to show you how we want to have it exchangeable between the countries. So, what we're thinking about at the moment is to have a general part and to tell the pupils about, well, what are primary producers, about how these food web structures are working with. So these primary producers, then the primary consumers, secondary consumers, and the tertiary consumers. And this is a nice example of how it looked like in 1950. Now, the next. This is on a dairy farmland nowadays. And you see it has huge influence on the food web structure. And it's mainly because for farmers it's really great to have one type of grass. Because there's a lot of, it's protein rich, and so it's good for the milk production. And we want to work, so we want to develop a module about this. And it should be, so it's general about food webs, but then specifically also about dairy farming, so it's also typical for the Dutch situation. So what I'm thinking about is teach the pupils something about how do you do a good comparison experiment measurements between dairy farmlands and national grasslands, and let them do some measurements. For instance, look at the quality of the soil using the tea bags index. I don't know, on our first evening, John already told you about it. It's just using these nice Lipton tea bags, two types, put them in the soil, and discover or recover it 3 months later to see how the decomposition of the soil is. And I think it's a really nice method to tell pupils what an experiment, a scientific experiment, looks like. Then, of course, looking at level of groundwater could be one of the measurements, and then looking at species of primary producers and primary consumers. And in the Netherlands, we have an app on a mobile phone where you can take pictures, and you can, if you have a good picture, it tells you what kind of species it is. And we have a website that collects all these data, which I think is a really nice way of looking in the field and getting the species, getting information about species. But next to that, we also want to work with scientists. And for instance, one of the scientists is working on birds, not in the meadows but on agricultural fields. And he is interested in what type of birds come there at night to forage, and he wants to do a pilot with microphones to do sound recordings at night. And I think it's a really nice way to involve pupils and see whether they can make a comparison between the dairy farmland and the natural grassland. Next. And that's not only that, we don't only want to look at it from a biological point of view, but we also want to have more aspects in it to raise the awareness. And so, for instance, look at it from a historical point of view or artistic point of view. I put some ideas here. So what we want is, for instance, to start with a debate with the stakeholders, so farmers, scientists, natural conservationists, so that pupils listen to their stories, listen to the reason why they find something important, and just come up with, start with an open mind and try to have an opinion of their own on what their view is and what their opinion is in this, on this theme. If we're looking from a historical point of view, you saw this huge difference between the food web structure in the 1950s. I think it was also nice to have students look at that to raise this awareness and, for instance, ask them to talk with their grandparents on how the surroundings looked like when they were young, or other ways to get awareness on how fast it's changing. But also to, for instance, do a sounds project on the sound of the meadows, how quiet it is, there are no bees making sounds and stuff like that. Or let them make visuals of the surrounding using the 360 degrees cameras or doing a time-lapse series. Something like that, just to have several disciplines within this project. And then, of course, we want to have the pupil exchange between the countries, have contact with each other, perhaps tell them, for instance, in Spain that yes, the birds arrived yesterday or something like that, and they moved on several days later to see when will they come back in the Netherlands. There are some species that fly over Valencia to the Netherlands, so that would be an interesting one to do. And then pupils present the results at the Science Festival. I think that's my last sheet. So thank you for your attention. And if you have questions. I don't know how informative it is to tell you about it, but we have a website that collects all these observations in the Netherlands. And it could be on birds, it could be on insects, it could be on plants. And so that's one thing that people go out and spot something and they record it there. And they developed this app so you can take a picture of a butterfly, for instance, and then the app will tell you what species it is.
Which one is it? So for me it's interesting.
I will send you.
Okay, thanks.
I've got an app on my phone, Maaike, it's called Warbler. Do you know of that? Okay, you can record bird songs and it will identify what they are.
Okay.
I'll share it with you.
Oh yes, excellent. That's good.
Warbler, W-A-R-B-L-R. Good.
Okay, great.
We use iNaturalist, which I know John mentioned.
Yes.
Which I think sounds similar.
It sounds similar, yes. I don't know whether they are different, but it could be interesting because then, of course, it can be used also in Cyprus and Spain. So, so I will look into that.
And I think if you can just share what the name of the app you use is. So iNaturalist is partially owned by National Geographic. I think they'd be interested at least on the back end in sharing the data, because it seems like it's the same kind of data. They'll probably love to like have it integrated.
Yeah. Yeah, I will look at them because yes, it would be more logic to use one that is also could be used all over Europe. Yeah.
I love the fact that you're also using artists and arts to present and look at
Yeah, I think that's really great methods, and we use it a lot. So also when we want to reach the public during Science Festival, we really look at this.
I'll share another artist who's got a similar kind of approach.
Great, thanks.
Any ideas about how to transfer the Cyprus, well, excuse me for this, bird-eating culture? How are you going to transfer this to some kind of Dutch program? Do you have ideas about that already?
Well, we are at the moment discussing that, and what I'm thinking about is, but I'm not sure whether it's too difficult for pupils of secondary schools, but I think if you look at a higher level, it's all about population dynamics, so the birds of a number of species, so that population, it grows because there's birth, and it declines because there is mortality, and normally there's natural mortality, but now because of this, they really grab a huge number of species out and look at the effect of those. And I think that's theme we can also use in the Netherlands, because in this natural grassland we have one species of birds, the black-tailed godwit, and other meadow birds that are breeding there, and they are, I think, a huge part of the European population is breeding in this site in the Netherlands. So that's quite important to to protect that. And I think, of course, you can also have this general theme there. And if these birds migrate to Africa, they also pass via France, and there's also shooting there.
Yeah.
So the themes are quite, in the beginning you will say it doesn't apply for Dutch birds, but it also does. And I think in that way we try to get it exchangeable.
Yeah, so you're creative thinking in this.
Yes.
Thanks.
I'm just interested, what do the scientists or students do in Cyprus? Do you know?
I'm not sure yet. So one problem with this is because this illegal trapping, it's quite a sensitive topic. Mm-hmm. And so it turns out, I wasn't aware of it in the beginning, but now I am, that people that want to protect the birds go out at night and try to grab away the lime sticks, because they have these sticks that put glue on it, and birds just get caught on the lime sticks. And even birds that they don't eat for consumption. So I saw a picture of an owl sitting with his wings to this lime stick and stuff like that. It was horrible. So people that want to protect those birds, they take away these sticks, and they also take away the nets. But it's right a clash with people that are trapping. So there are fights, they are punching holes in the tires, and so it's something that's quite tricky. So I don't want the pupils to go out and protect it in that way and be involved in that way. But I think it's the best way is to let them go out and be aware of that sometimes in spring and autumn there are so many birds that use Cyprus as a stopover site on their way either to the south or the north, and look at that in that way.
Mm-hmm. Just kind of following on from that, have you got an idea about how they could maybe take action from what they're learning? So it might not be obviously going and slashing balls and ties, but is there a kind of is there a kind of a healthier outlet? I think a lot of them, I mean, even in the Netherlands, there might be a kind of, we want to, I don't know, write to our ministers or whatever. So have you thought about how that might progress on?
No, not yet. But so we think about during this science festival that pupils can tell about the results of their project, and they can do it in whatever way they want it, or at least that's what we think now. So it could be that they have a campaign, or that we want to getting into contact with the local politics, stuff like that.
How did you choose the location? So Spain, the Netherlands, Cyprus. Like, what was the kind of what kind of ties? What ties these countries together for this project?
Well, that's a good question.
Because I mean, with bird migration, you would imagine. You know, I mean, actually, what you're talking about, bird eating, it also occurs in Spain.
Yes. Well, so if you have the map of Europe, so at first this project started out initiated by one of the scientists, and he's interested in doing this research on these meadow birds, and they migrate from the Netherlands down to France, to Portugal, Spain, to Africa. So he looked at people that would be interested in France, in Spain, Portugal, stuff like that. And that didn't really work out. So then we got involved and we said, well, we don't want to work only on bird migration and only on these meadow birds. We want to have a more other more general theme. And we decided that it's more bird migration, but I think also water management, because it's also in all the countries that's a problem. And I think Cyprus, so that was why Spain was involved, because it's the most logic, and I think they were already contacted by the scientists, so that's why they are in this project. And Cyprus, we have a good contact with them because of the science communication actually, so that's why we started on that. And yeah, ask them to. Yeah. I think we should move on.
Is everyone talking?
Yeah. I don't know.